In the world of corporate giants, few stories are as captivating and cautionary as Enron's. From unparalleled success to a catastrophic downfall, this is the tale that has it all. Founded with grand ambitions, Enron quickly became a powerhouse in the energy sector, spearheading innovations and dazzling Wall Street with record profits. Join us as we delve into the rise and fall of Enron, exploring the key players, the groundbreaking strategies, and the ultimate betrayal that shook the financial world to its core. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. I'm glad to have you guys here. Still enjoying the A to Z scandal series, the first real series or real lengthy playlist on my channel. And today we are on E for the playlist. We're going through the alphabet. Each letter will cover a scandal. Okay, and for E, I decided to choose Enron, which is another topic that I didn't know much about. So we're going to be talking about Enron. When I started doing research, I was kind of like, what is Enron? I've never heard of Enron. And that's probably because it dissolved in 2001 and I was very young. I was in second grade in 2001. So, kind of like Bernie Madoff, it was a company that had a lot of shady business practices in the finance sector that, kind of dissolved due to those shady finance practices, okay? And I am not a financial advisor. I did not study macro or microeconomics in school, high or college, finance, none of that. So I am going to cover it like an average person would, okay? I'm not going to delve deep into the macro or microeconomics in this because I want people to be able to understand it from a layman's terms or explain it like I'm five, okay? Enron came to great success in the mid 80s, around 1985. It was a natural energy company that rose to prominence by the owner, Kenneth Lay. Now, it was a natural energy company, so we think about gas, pipelines, energy. We get energy from gas to power our cars. We get energy from electric, things of that nature. So they were that kind of company, right? They began putting their hands in other businesses because what do we think about as Americans when we get success from one thing? We want to dip our toes into other waters because we can't just have so much money. We can't just have so much money as Americans. Once we get this amount of money as Americans, we have to conquer it all. So I don't know. It's a monopolizing feeling. I feel like as an American living in a capitalist society where we get money and we crave more, we yearn for more. So just seeing success early on for Enron, it was like, we can get more. We can start dipping our toe into fiber optics, which has a lot to do with why your internet is connecting to this YouTube stream. Your internet service providers have to use fiber optics to give you internet connection, right? So they started dibbling into that. What does that have to do with natural gas? I don't really know, but honestly, I feel like it's a very American thing. It could be a very personal thing for people to business people at that. Once they start making a little bit of money, they want to monopolize on their profits. They might say, hey, I just bought this real estate, and this real estate made me $200,000 a year. I just bought one home. Now I'm going to take that and buy 4 homes to see if I can make $2 million a year. Now I'm going to take that and buy a restaurant and a GameStop and see if I can make $8 million a year. It's a very, very, very capitalist thing for people that have money to want more money. So I don't blame Enron for trying to beef up the business, right? So they started dipping into other businesses like I explained. They started dipping into fiber optics, cable, stock, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a good business and they were gas, things that people needed, you can dip into the stock market, you can give investors a chance to invest in you, own a piece of your company for a return, right? After much success, Enron began trading in energy, sort of playing the stock market. Like I said again, I'm not a financial advisor. I feel like the stock market is a very, very tricky game because we don't know what's going to happen. It's much like gambling when you're doing the stock market. I mean, you have these analysts. It's different in trading that it's not completely random. It shows trends of positivity over years, whereas gambling shows trends of negativity over years depending on how much you're doing it, right? But you never know with stocks unless you have some information that you're not supposed to, right? So they begin playing the stock market. They put their name up into stock, right? And I will show you the chart of Enron stock. They changed their name to Enron Finance Corporation. Instead of just being a gas pipeline business, this became a energy trading business, right? So it's no longer the gas pipeline company, it's the money company, right? People are taking money out of their paychecks and investing into Enron. Enron is a household name now. Enron is on people's stock sheets. So, Bernie Madoff, when he was investing for his clients, may have had Enron on the sheet, right? It got so bad that they wanted all of the internet service providers to rely on them for bandwidth, right? Selling it to them as a commodity. They sold all of their goods as commodity, the gas, the natural resources. They sold everything they created as a good. So the bandwidth, the gas, it was a good to them, right? So a lot of bartering going on with Enron. So we will talk about some key players within Enron, its success and its downfall. So we have Kenneth Lay. I told you guys Kenneth Lay founded Enron, right? So original CEO, Kenneth Lay. And then we have a Jeffrey Skilling. He gave the idea to link the natural gas to the end user, which transformed Enron's business model, making the natural gas more of a good than it being a service. Skilling joined the company in the early 90s. So you have about 5 years with Lay, and then Skilling comes along. Andrew Fastow became the chief financial officer of the company. Now, this is all nice and dandy. It seems like an energy trading business, right? It seems like a good business. Now, where things seemingly went wrong is when stock spiked in Enron in the late 90s. It just, and whenever we see that as investors, we get really happy, right? We don't really care what's going on behind the scenes. Us as investors are really, really happy. As long we think everything is legit. If you are an investor of stock, you think, wow, this company is booming. But it was not booming. They were doing a lot of false reporting. The money that they were reporting, they weren't really making. False reporting played a large role in the price of the stock. So they implemented something called market to market accounting. Now I'm going to break it down because I'm not a finance major explaining it like I'm five to everyone, because we want to understand things like this that people don't talk about a lot, but it's very hard to explain things like this that people don't talk about because it's hard to grasp the stock market and things that go on within it, like scandal, because we don't even understand what's going on. You know? Most people don't know what the stock market is. Furthermore, they don't know how to mislead a stock market, right? So they implemented something called market to market accounting. And what that did, it played a large role in the false reporting of the revenue of Enron. Okay? Market to market accounting basically told the estimated value of Enron would be taken for face value when reporting revenue to investors. So it could be revenue that hadn't been traded yet. It could be revenue that was on the books but not fully executed yet. It could be revenue that was written down but not yet traded. As long as they had it kind of on paper somewhere, they could report it. It didn't actually have to be recorded. As long as it was reported somewhere as going to occur, they could report it, right? Enron was hiding losses through the market to market accounting and not reporting them. They had lots of shell companies. Shell companies, okay? Think about a shell, right? What does a hermit do in a shell? It hides, right? Let's talk about it, okay? A hermit hides in a shell. So what was Enron doing with these shell companies? These shell companies are sponsored companies, bought out companies. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's be unfiltered for a second. These shell companies were sponsored companies by who? Enron. And these sponsored companies were being used to cover up all the debt. All the debt that they weren't reporting, these shell companies could come in and clean that up. Technically, legally. And the shell companies could take that hit that Enron didn't want going public. So the debt never showed up. So the stock spike that we see going up, and the market to market accounting paired with the shell companies made it seem like Enron was far more valuable than it really was, as a stock, as a record label, and as a crew. You understand me? Okay, we're gonna move along because Enron's like this. People that's investing in Enron are like popping bottles. We're cruising. We're cruising through the 90s with Enron, right? Then the scandal breaks. It looks fishy to somebody, right? It looks kind of suspicious to one or two or three persons, okay? So a few independent journalists started doing reports on market-to-market reporting and the dangers of it, right? Reporting what's not in the books yet. And then they start looking at Enron closer and seeing that they followed this market-to-market accounting model. Okay? So they're looking like, that looks a lot like market-to-market to me. How much money are they really making? And they're going back through the 90s and they're looking, that looks sus. That looks sus. And they're not being able to make a paper trail of how much money that Enron ever made. They cannot track down paper trail to the first. They can't find it. They can't find it. They can't find it. Okay? They can't find the documents. They're like, why they can't find it? The shell company's got it. So skiing actually skied his out the front door. He sold his shares and skied his ass out of the company and resigned in 2001 because skiing was getting grilled. They were asking him questions. Where's the paperwork, skiing? Where's the paperwork, skiing? Where's the paperwork? He skied his out of the company and sold. He got his millions. He got his bag while the stock was all right. Skied out the front door. I'm not even telling you a joke, okay? Kenneth Lay becomes the CEO. And the SEC is like, did your boss just leave with all the millions? Hello? So the SEC dives in and starts investigating Enron. And the investigation makes investors kind of scared. They're like, the SEC is investigating you. I don't want my money in that. So they pull their money out, respectfully. And the price of Enron drops drastically, right? Enron was going to be bought out by another company called Dynergy. And it fell through after Dynergy caught on as well that it was about to be a massive rug pull, and the stock fell to 70 cents after Dynergy pull up. So Dynergy dodged a bullet there because it was going to be a huge rug pull. Like Dynergy was going to acquire Enron, and then it was going to be immediate like that, right? So Enron filed for bankruptcy.
Enron had morphed them from a pipeline company to a really state-of-the-art trading house, trading gas, electricity, oil, even weather derivatives. And with the write-off, the accounting fraud that really occurred, and this suspicious and unexplained write-off that was announced mid-October, the market really started to question what was going on at Enron. And when the stock price started to decline and shareholders started to sell off stock, it put Enron in a bind. You had trading partners wanting to close out contracts and be paid what they were owed. Sometimes people call it a run on the bank, but basically anyone that could close out a trading position and ask for their money back was doing so. So it put a real cash flow strain on the company. And then two different very large lending vehicles checked the box that a default had happened and said, pay the money you owe us, which totaled in the billions.
They couldn't.
And so that's what caused the collapse of Enron.
And all of the investments, because they paid, I found out that if you join certain companies, if you're a corporate America citizen and you're Wall Street America citizen that has a nice job, like an investment banker, investment bankers have it nice. When they retire, they have stock waiting for them. So you can work, like say you get out of college and you go investment banker job. They start putting stocks in your 401k, options in your 401k. So think about it like this. You've been working from the age of 20 to 60, and your stocks have just been sitting there for 40 years. you're a millionaire. You're a multi-millionaire when you get out. When you go to retire. If you're a finance banker, you're probably already a multi-millionaire from your wages. But think about all your stocks and options. If you were in a company like Enron, where they went bankrupt, you have no stocks or options. Because your stock is now virtually worthless. That sucks.
The collapse of the deal between Enron and Dynegy has left Enron employees stunned, many of them wondering if they'll be getting their next paycheck.
Everybody's concerned about their job.
As it is right now, I think everybody's a little in shock.
People don't know if they get their paychecks on Friday.
Enron employees, some carrying boxes filled with belongings, leave their downtown headquarters, huddled against the cold and an uncertain future. News of the demise of the merger between Enron and Dynegy left many in shock.
People are surprised, they're shocked at the way that things went from here to there so quickly.
Enron accountant David Baconi says, like thousands of other employees, he's just wondering what will happen next and how he'll support his family if he loses his job.
I'm flubbergasted. And only to be told your retirement plan for the past 6 years. First of all, you're fired. Second of all, you know that retirement plan that you signed when you, yeah, we're not gonna be able to do that. Are you kidding? That's horrible. That's horrible. And it can happen at any time to any company. Oh, it's horrible. So, those are worthless. Criminal charges were filed for the higher-ups, meaning Lay, Skilling, and Fausto, for hiding certain things. Jeff Skiing, conspiracy, insider trading. He got 14 years and a $45 million fine. He's currently released. Andrew Fausto and his wife. Insider trading, conspiracy, and related charges. 6 years in prison. I'm pretty sure they're out now. And the wife got a year. And Kenneth Lay, wire fraud, trading, associated charges. He passed away before he was to go to jail. Just terrible. Because the same thing with the Bernie Madoff case, I feel like they were making good money. Lay and company were making good money, and they just kind of wanted more and more and more, and it just got out of hand. You know, something that correct reporting could have probably just eliminated. Yeah, it probably would have taken a pay cut, but you never know what direction it could have went in if you had done it the correct way from the start. You just wanted to look the best. You wanted to have the highest stock price. But if you don't have that foundation at the bottom, one day it's going to just crush on itself, you know? So the lessons learned, you know, the United States came up with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act established an audit report and a whole other laundry list of things dealing with stocks, options, and these companies, what they can and can't do because of what this company did. The only way I'm saying it's like Bernie Madoff, it reminds me of Bernie Madoff, is because I feel like it got carried away and it could have been prevented. You know, it's different than Bernie because that was a situation of a Ponzi scheme. It wasn't even real. This is a real company. But Bernie had the opportunity to make his company real. These people had a completely legitimate company that they just didn't do the legwork behind. And I feel like they should just had the manpower to go through it and just give it a try. Just go through it and do it right. They had everything they needed, you know? And they also used a company called Arthur Anderson. He was paid very well as an accountant, which was also sketchy. He was being paid very well salary for an accountant. You know, accountants make good money. They're like in six figures, but this guy was making millions. What accountant do you know that makes millions unless he works for, well, he did work for millionaires, but not a corporate accountant. Like, you know, accountants that work for corporate companies, they make upwards of six figures a year. This guy was making millions, multi-millions, allegedly due to the fact that he was finding as many holes as he could and riding the line of what was legal for them. And that is a lot to cover, right? That's a lot to cover. That's a lot to get through. But guys, I feel like that is basically what happened with Enron and why Enron's no longer around today. I don't even know what Enron is. Who replaced Enron, y'all? Who replaced Enron? Was it BP? Because I don't know. Is BP still around? Ooh, I don't even know. I don't know. Who replaced Enron? Tell me in the comments below. Y'all, you guys need to hit me with that subscribe button. I think 95% of y'all, you'll watch. Just hit me with the subscribe button. Just hit that subscribe button. Sharing is caring. Share to your Facebook. Share to your TikTok. Share to your mom's TikTok. I don't care. Share it to your dog. I don't care. Leave comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Please stay engaged. Subscribe. 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 This has been Lindsay Unfiltered. I am so excited for the F video. Guys, thank you so much. I've had 2.6. That means 2,600 people look at me in the past 28 days. And we're only hoping to make that number higher and higher and higher and higher. Let's go get it, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.